Good morning, and thank you for joining us for the first week of the 2024 Mideastern Athletic Conference Weekly Football Coaches Call video conference. I am Elise Scripta, the Director of Strategic Communications for the MEAC, and I will serve as moderator and co-host for today's question and answer session. Joining me as a co-host throughout the season will be executive producer of the MEAC Digital Network, Mr. Lynn Thompson. Welcome, Lynn, and thank you for being here with us. Before we begin, I would like to go over today's procedures. The conference will begin with the MEAC notes, featuring conference highlights, upcoming events, and weekly accolades. Afterwards, we will ask each head coach questions about previous matchups, the upcoming games, followed by questions from the media. To ask a question, simply click the raise hand feature, remain muted until you're introduced. At this time, I will turn things over to Miss Abigail Weiss for the MEAC notes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Abigail Weiss. I'm the Assistant Director of Strategic Communications here at the MEAC. And just to gloss over some things to look forward to for the upcoming 2024 fall season, we are 10 days out from the official start of the 2024 volleyball season. The Coppin State University Eagles were the winners of the 2023 MEAC Championship, claiming their first ever title in program history after defeating Howard in 3 sets. Coppin State's Takenya Stafford earned Outstanding Player accolades for her efforts. In the postseason, the Eagles of Coppin State received the MEAC's automatic bid into the first round of the NCAA tournament, where they faced off against number 4 Pittsburgh. Howard also saw postseason action appearing in the NIVC against St. John's. Raya McKinnon from Howard University was named 2023 MEAC Player of the Year for the 2nd straight season. The 8 members of the 2023 MEAC All-Conference teams will be returning to play for the 2024 season, including Rookie of the Year Gabrielle Gilbert from Norfolk State University. The 2024 MEAC Volleyball Championship will take place on the campus of Delaware State University from November 22nd through the 24th. As for cross country, the 2024 cross-country season is on marks and will start on August 30th. The 2024 MEAC Cross-Country Championships will be held on November 2nd at the Delaware State Outreach and Research Center for the 3rd consecutive season, with an 11 a.m. start time for the men's races and a 12 p.m. start time for the women's. For the men's side, Norfolk State won the 2023 MEAC Men's Cross-Country Championship title with a Spartans sweep for the top 4 spots. This win marked their 4th straight championship titles and the 16th overall in program history. Gideon Siggy was the outstanding performer after winning individual gold with a time of 24:39.1. The Spartans were also 2nd, 3rd, and 4th as Raphael Couture, Brian Rich, and Victor Jumal aided in Norfolk State's championship. Delaware State finished 2nd with 71 points, and North Carolina Central was 3rd with 81 points. As for the women's side, Norfolk State University placed 5 runners in the top 10 with the 2023 MEAC Championship Women's Cross Country. Mercy Lynn Kimanu was outstanding performer. Howard placed 2nd with 49 points, and North Carolina Central placed 3rd with 60 points. That is the updates for the upcoming fall 2024 schedules.
Thank you, Abigail, for sharing those notes with us. At this time, I will turn things over to my co-host and MC, Mr. Lynn Thompson, for our interview with head coach of Delaware State University, Lee Hall.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm out in the Midwest. I'm in Lebanon, Ohio, and I apologize if you hear some noise in the background, but it's football season. I know everybody is excited. I am so excited. It sounds like all the campuses are alive and students are ready, fired up. It's nothing like football season, and it's nothing like MEAC football. So we are ready to get this thing started. We're going to start this morning with our first interview. The Hornets, the chief Hornet himself, Delaware State head coach Lee Hall, going to join us. Let's talk about the Hornets first of all. 1-10 overall, 0-5 in conference play in the first year with Coach Hull at the helm. This season, Del State is predicted to finish 6th in conference play. According to the pollsters, the Hornets will welcome back Coach Hull beginning year 2 as he lays the foundation in Dover. He's no stranger to the MEAC, having previously led Morgan State to a share of the conference crown in 2014. With that in mind, good morning, Coach Hall. How are you doing today?
Yeah, good morning, Lynn. Doing well, doing well.
Good.
For week 0.
Week 0, that's right. With your first season with the Hornets in the books, let's talk about the offseason, the returnees, the new players that you believe will make an impact on the playing field, and how has camp been thus far?
Camp's been well. You know, obviously we've been here for like close to 4 weeks, so they're getting a little bit tired of beating up on each other. So you know, it's about that time to go play somebody else. But I think we've had a productive camp. You know, I think we taken the next steps, strides. You know, the biggest, improvement comes from, and the biggest jump comes from year 1 to year 2. So we're looking kind of to take that jump. I think the guys are bought in. They've done a great job of learning the systems, second year in the system. So they've taken that by the horn and been doing very well with that. We have a bunch of starters coming back. You know, on offensive line, we have 2 starters coming back. We have our quarterback coming back, which we expect him to take that next step. You know, he's had a great camp so far. We got 2 running backs that we really like. And then, we have two returning receivers that played a lot. One, Jordan Hall was hurt the last half of the season. Only played in the 1 conference game against South Carolina State. And Najee Lally is the other one that was our leading receiver. And then we got our all MEAC tight end, EJ Core, who's done a great job for us this camp being a leader. He was actually voted captain this year. Defensively, we got on the defensive line, we got 2 returners, Eric Montez and Darren Cook, who are all MEAC guys. Linebacker wise, we got our Mario Goins and Charles Brown are back. And in the secondary, we have 2 returning starters there, one at corner, one at safety. We had a bunch of transfers that I think that's going to make an impact for us on the offensive line. Antonio Williams, transfer from Wagner. Justice Johnson, transfer from UVA. We expect them to make some impact. We got a receiver, Corey Palmer from Temple, that helps us get some depth, there. Defensively, we have 2 linebackers, Aaron Willis, from Houston, and Brian Bates from Charlotte, and then we got 2 corners, Travis Laster from Wagner, and then Shane Thrift from Delaware, University of Delaware. And then we got a couple junior college transfers that are coming in. So, we've been trying to get that mix together, the old and the new, and I think it's been going in a great direction as far as the camaraderie and our old players ingratiating the new players. And I think we're fitting in. There's a big difference from last year to now in that family atmosphere, which I'm trying to build.
Well, year 2 is an important year. You are able to measure growth. When we talk about the student athlete experience, you start off year 2 with a phenomenal experience on the horizon. You travel, how many different time zones you're going to travel to play a very good University of Hawaii football team who went to a bowl game. And your outlook for this matchup is, as you prepare to face the Rainbows, Coach, let's be frank about it. You win this one, you ought to be 2-0 because you got to beat the Rainbows and you got to beat the Travel Monster. So let's talk about this matchup as you prepare to go week 0 against the Rainbows and the time zones.
Yeah, logistically, it's kind of a challenge. We leave actually tomorrow. Tomorrow we leave campus 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. So
wow.
We're actually out of practice right now. So we can get this guy some time off and pack and get ready to go because we leave at 4 in the morning. But yeah, the time zone is 6 hours behind. So we're playing them at 6 p.m. their time, which is midnight our time. So yeah, that's going to be a change, on our bodies, trying to get acclimated to the time difference. So yeah, I think more than playing the game, it's the travel, the logistics. We've been doing this for 3 months, and
Yeah.
still today people come in, oh, we got an issue here, we got an issue there, travel, what are we doing here? So the last minute stuff that comes up because of the long flight, we got to drive to JFK, which is 3 hours away, and then we got a direct flight, which is another 10.5 hours. So
yeah,
but we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to the matchup. It's a great experience. No HBCU school has been there since 1976, and Eddie Robinson and Grambling. So this is a great experience. Like I told the guys today in the team meeting, you're not only representing yourself in the Delaware State University, but you're representing the whole HBCU community. And it's a big responsibility for us. But we want to go there. Obviously win the game. Like you said, it'll be 2 wins for us with the travel monster. There. But once we get there, we also want to do some stuff educationally and culturally for the guys, because it's a great experience for them. We have a luau for them. We're going to go to Pearl Harbor. So we want to do some stuff, because it's probably a once in a lifetime chance for most of our players.
Well, we wish you nothing but the best of luck, Coach. I know we've got some media guys on the call right now that want to ask you some questions. So thanks a lot, Coach. That concludes my questions. We'll now take questions from the media. And as a reminder, please raise your hand. Use that raise your hand feature. Remain muted until you're introduced. Elise, you can take it from here for Coach.
Thank you, Lynn. Our first questions will come from Chris Stevens from HBCU Sports.
Coach Hall, Chris Stevens, how you doing?
Good. How you doing? Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well. Obviously, year one didn't go the way you planned, and year two starts off with, as Mr. Thompson said, the travel monster heading out to Hawaii. Just what has been the message, in preseason and fall camp, getting these guys ready for 2024?
To improve, to be better, than last year. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Are we going to take that next step? And that's what I want to see from these guys, is taking that next step. Like I said, the biggest improvements from year one to year two. So who's willing to do what they need to do, sacrifice what they need to sacrifice for us to take that next step? So we've been really harping on all the little details, fundamentally, technique, them as a person, how they behave on the field, off the field, all the little things. So we want to, take that next step. So we're really harping on that. It's you want to win a bunch of games, but how are you representing yourself? How are you representing the university? How are you representing the HBCU community is big in my part. If we take care of all those things, the winning will come, and we'll win some games. But we're trying to really take a holistic approach and really dive into ourselves and what we need to do to get better, not only as a football player, but as a person.
And obviously, the first half of the schedule actually seems to be split in half. You guys have all your non-conference stuff ahead of time, and then you head into MEAC play, the final half of the season. Just what do you want this team to take from this non-conference schedule? Obviously, you've got Hawaii, you've got Richmond coming to Alumni Stadium in a few weeks, and you've got a few NEC teams on the schedule. What do you want your team to take from this non-conference schedule, and apply it to MEAC play when the time comes, since you won't see those guys until like the middle of October?
Improvement. We each and every game, let's get better. You talk about getting 1% better every single day, every game. But the biggest thing is show improvement. Keep, have blinders on. I always talk to those guys who have blinders on, and just grind and just grind. And then the outcome will be the outcome. But really, let's start taking that next step and use these preseason games as a way, when we get to MEAC conference, that we're going on all cylinders. Like, we know what we're doing. Everything becomes second nature to you, where we're playing at our highest level, to our highest ability. Obviously, we want to win every single game, and that's what we're going to go into this preseason, before the MEAC play, is to win every single game. But the biggest thing is can we take that next step? Can we show improvement each and every week and get better, and then be ready when it comes to MEAC time?
And lastly, and I'll cede to the other reporters waiting on the call. You guys, is this your first trip going to Hawaii?
Not me. When I was at Oregon State, we played 2 games over there before. So this is not my first time to Hawaii, but it wasn't as long as the flight. It was only 5 hours, so it was a little shorter flight.
Have you talked to any of the guys about what to expect, in terms of, that long travel and, what to what to look forward to going over there?
Yeah, we've had multiple conversations, about what it's like, the experience, the culture, Pearl Harbor, all the historical stuff. The 57th Infantry is like mostly a Black infantry over there. So we talked about that. This is the time change, the weather, the culturally, the food is going to be different. Try new things while you're there. Because everything's going to be different. As far as that's concerned, it's an experience for them. But the pageantry and their tradition is different. So just try to embrace that, but also understand we're there to win the game. We are on a business trip, but have some fun. We're there for 5 days, so obviously we can't practice and meet all the time. So you're going to be able to have some free time, and like I said, we're doing the luau, and Pearl Harbor takes that stuff in.
Sounds good. All right, thanks, Coach. Best of luck this week.
All right, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Our next questions for Coach Hull will come from Mr. Charles Hallman from the Minnesota Spokesman.
Good morning, Coach. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good morning.
Okay. Charles Hallman, Minnesota Spokesman Recorder. Unfortunately, all the questions I wanted to ask you was already asked, so I will ask something different. Hopefully, what you said, there's been a long training camp, obviously, for kids, going at each other and not going against another thing. Is there anything singly that you want your players to focus on as they prepare for this season?
Yeah, the biggest thing is being disciplined. Because my whole thing is, in the MEAC, since I've been in the MEAC, the most disciplined team has always won the MEAC. The least penalized team has won the MEAC. You can go back, history and see that they're always at the top of in the country. The least penalized team, the most disciplined team. So we've been really talking about the little things. There's some rule changes. We had 2 scrimmages, and we had a couple of penalties, and far as with the new rule changes, really trying to understand those so we can minimize that. And another thing is just red zone, third down, critical situations, not making mistakes, not tightening up. I think we tightened up a little bit on third down and red zone last year, but I think when your second year in the offense, now you should be feel a bit more comfortable with what you're doing, the understanding what we're doing. So I think those 2 things really we stress is just being disciplined, being the most disciplined team in the conference, and hopefully one in the nation as far as least penalized team, and then really situational third down and red zone, really honing down on that and being better in those situations.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Our next questions will come from Mr. Stephen Tsai.
Hi, sir. My name's Stephen Tsai. I'm with the Honolulu Star Advertiser. By the way, it's 4:20 in the morning here, so you are pretty much a captive audience out here, which I guess you'll get used to as the time change. I was kind of worrying about the starting in week 0. How did that impact the way you had to schedule your practices and prepare for the season? Because it's a week earlier than you normally do. Was it a little bit different, trying to squeeze in all your work and at least finalize your roster?
Well, not really, because you start a week earlier than everybody else, so you're still going to get the allotted practice days that you have. So the biggest thing is just getting everybody here a week earlier. If you got some transfers and stuff, really getting those guys admitted to school, and it was more logistical things as far as that concerned. But as far as practice and all that, we still get the same amount of practices.
Okay. And what's it like scouting a team that's so far away? And also trying to simulate ways run and shoot offense and attacking defense in your practices.
Yeah, I don't think them being far away is an issue. It's more, they switch offensive coordinators, they switch defensive coordinators, so those things just really trying to figure out what they're going to do. It's always that first quarter. It's going to be a fill out. Trying to figure out what they're going to do, what their style is, and what their MO is going to be. So there was no film exchange because it's week 0 or anything like that. So really, it's more trying to like I said, it's the first quarter just trying to figure out what their MO is. And I think it's probably the same for them too.
Okay. And finally, other than their AD, do you have any past history or relationships or friendships or with any of their coaching staff? Or
no, just the AD. Obviously, his son was one of our quarterbacks here last year, and Aaron Angelos. So that's kind of how this whole thing came about.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Coach.
All right, you're welcome. Thanks.
That is all the questions at this time I see from the media. Coach Hall, we thank you for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck this week. Safe travels to you and the team, and can't wait to catch the action on Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Yeah, Sunday. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, Sunday morning for you guys. Yeah, we'll be done about 3 a.m. our time. So,
well, pulling for a win for the Hornets, Coach. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right.
At this time, we will be joined by Norfolk State Head Coach Dawson Odums. Lynn, I'm going to pass the torch back over to you.
All right. So we just heard from the Hornets. Now let's turn our attention to the Spartans. And Coach Dawson Odums joins us. Thanks again for joining us. Best of luck this weekend for you as you prepare to open up in the ATL. Coach Odums, Norfolk State will face Florida A&M in the 2024 MEAC SWAC Challenge on Saturday, August 24th at Center Park Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, kicking off 7:30 p.m. on ABC. Coach, I'll tell you what, I had a couple of questions, but national news kind of preempted some of those questions. The first thing I want to ask you is, let's talk about y'all MEAC quarterback. Otto Coons will not be playing in this game. You got to sit him for, 4 weeks? So you got to change some strategy there, and I'm sure you're well prepared for that. You want to talk about that first?
Yes, sir. First of all, happy 2024 football season to you all. It's that time of year again. We get the chance to kick off 0 week. We made the decision at quarterback. We waited to the end. We was trying to figure out how that decision was going to be played out. But throughout this whole time, we had an ideal that this, when you know the worst and you know the best, you can kind of plan. So we had a plan in place, and we navigated it, and we didn't lose him for the season. We'll have him. He'll rejoin. He's still with the team, but he'll rejoin back to being a part of that QB conversation after that 4 game. Jalen Daniels is going to be the guy to start for us, and he was a highly talented quarterback coming out of high school. We got him out of junior college, and he's been here since the summer and has done a really fantastic job for us. So he's excited, and this football team is excited about the opportunity that's in front of us.
Well, Coach, that's good to hear that. Despite not having the season you would have hoped for in 2023, you remained in the fight. You had 8 games that were determined by 2 scores or less. So you were in the fight for 8 games. And what lessons did you learn from last year that you are bringing into this year?
Well, when you in a fight, it lets you know that you got a football team that's competing at a high level. And then you have to circle, why did you come up short? What were some of the things that led you to come up short in some of those ball games in the final minutes of those ball games? And a lot of that is experience. Guys just have not had the opportunity to be in those situations. The greatest learning tool that we have in life is experience. And these guys have played a lot of snaps. They're older. They understand how to prepare and how to get ready for a football game. And now we get some of those scenarios in 2024. We'll handle them totally different than we did in 2023.
Well, Coach, I think that's a very a good way to say that. In fact, you had one of the youngest starting units out there last year. Now you've got one of the largest returning classes in the conference, and having that returning experience is going to be. Last year was a disadvantage, but this year it's a positive in your column. So looking at that, you're going to face going into this the defending HBCU champs. You're going up against them, but they're basically a new squad, and this is a new season. How is that returning class going to help you going into such a big ball game on national TV?
Well, I think just when you look at the big picture, and guys done played in some big stadiums, they done played in some big games, just understanding the preparation. It would be totally different if we was playing against the same football team, returning a lot of players, coached by the same guys, coaching the same positions from a year ago. But it's some unknowns about this football team that we're about to take on. The Rattlers have replaced a lot of players. They got a lot of additions, and they're probably doing the same thing, trying to figure out, who's going to be where, how they're going to play in these lights, and see what kind of football team they have, because it's totally different. Once you leave a season, you not only lose good players, you lose leadership, you lose the locker room. And I take my hat off to Coach Simmons and a fantastic job that he did with that program. But he was also heavy in the offensive play calling. He was instrumental in the quarterback play. You lose a lot when you lose Willie Simmons, and Coach Cozy's done a great job of putting his staff together and getting in some really good players and trying to figure out where they go put them and where they go play. We've been telling our guys, just understand this. It's all about us, and we gotta play a certain way, and we gotta do things a certain way. And if we do those things, we feel like we'll have a chance in this football game. If we don't do those things very well, then this football game could be lopsided.
Coach, my final question for you is, there's a lot to be said about experience and knowledge of your opponents. I was doing some research, and all of your coaching years, there's only been a couple of years where you haven't faced a FAMU football team, either as a head coach or an assistant. So you know the culture of that program. You know the ins and outs. You got relationship with the staff. How much of that is going to play into your strategy, your ability to motivate your football team this Saturday in such a big season opening kickoff matchup?
Well, I think you understand what you're facing. I think that's also something you hang your hat on. You understand the talent. You understand how they're going to play. You understand the magnitude of the tradition and the passion that they have in that FAMU football program. They're a talented bunch. They do things. They're going to be very fast. They do things very well. We got to hang our hat on what we do very well, and try to understand that we got to play a certain type of football. They was in the MEAC, so they understand MEAC football. So they have an ideal of what our culture is like in the MEAC. But I've faced them several times, as you mentioned. So we have an idea of what we're about to see. Now, it's going to be some different people wearing that uniform, and we're going to find out real quick that this is not practice, and adjust to the game tempo and just staying with it. You can't get frustrated whether something good or bad happen. We got to have an even kill mentality and play the next play. If we can do that, we feel like we got a good football team, and this platform is going to give us opportunity to showcase it.
Well, we are so excited about what's going to happen in Atlanta this weekend, Coach. I know we got other folks from the media that want to ask a lot of questions. So thanks for that, Coach. As a reminder, for those of you in the media who are ready to raise your hands, use the raise your hands feature. Remain muted until you are introduced by Elise. So with that, Elise, let's take it away now.
Thank you, Lynn, and thank you, Coach Dawson, for joining us. Our first questions will come from Mr. Charles Hallman from the Minnesota Spokesman Reporter.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Mr. Hallman. How you doing?
Doing fine. Charles Hallman from the Minnesota Spokesman Reporter. What single thing or a couple of things that you really wanted to hammer home with the players as you prepare for the first, not only for the first game, but for the season?
just play the next play, remain disciplined, not too much anxiety. It's been a fun camp. It's been a really fun camp. Hasn't been a camp to where we've had a lot of guys to get injured or get beat up. When you're playing 0 a week, you get to that first game pretty quick. And you don't want to lose a lot of guys due to injuries early in camp because those nagging injuries may keep them out of camp. So the biggest thing was the nutrition of our team and the health of our football team. And we really tried to teach those guys that if we can get our best guys to the gate as healthy as they can, we give ourselves a chance to win a football game. And those guys bought into that. But our discipline is something that I'm very proud of with our football team. And we've been trying to get it this way since we've been here, and it takes time. But these guys are older now. They're a little bit more mature. They understand exactly what we're trying to teach, and they are teaching each other. So that's when you realize that locker room is a close-knit group, and we'll have to rely on each other. That foxhole go get tested, and we go revert back to our training.
My second question, thank you. I know you said you were preparing for the worst in terms of not having your starting quarterback for a while. But how did you as a staff prepare to do that in addition to preparing the players? So you as a staff had to prepare for making adjustments when that word came down that you would not have to have your quarterback.
Well, we knew that we would be facing that challenge in December. This is not something that, just came about. We understood coming out of the fall semester that this is a possibility, had a plan in place to where we tried to execute the things that we needed to before we put it in the hands of the NCAA. And once we put it in their hands, a ruling came back and we lived with that ruling. But we went out and recruited us a quarterback knowing that we could be facing this situation in August. And that's just how we go about doing things, is being ahead of it. And we went and recruited Jalen Daniels, and we brought him in here to compete highly for the starting job. And he was able to get himself ready to play, and he's done nothing but get better every day. But I think he got a chance to put the world on notice. He's got some talent. A lot of people hadn't seen him play, but he's a special talent. Like I tell guys, you get recruited to go to play in the SEC for a reason. And there's a lot of reasons why guys leave. But when they recruit you, it's something got to be seen in you that allow them to say, hey, we want that guy. And he has that kind of talent. And now we just putting a scheme together that fits him. We can come back on the playbook now that we get ready for game and try to circle that playbook, draw a circle around what he does best. And now we got a chance to go put a football team on the field that's led by Jalen Daniels that we really believe will give us a chance to win football games.
Thank you very much, Coach. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hallman. Our next questions will come from Chris Stevens from HBCU Sports.
Coach Odums, how you doing today?
I'm doing outstanding, sir. How you doing?
Pretty good. Obviously, you guys are kicking off the HBCU football season. Just how big of an honor and a privilege is that, number one, to be one of the first two teams to start the season, and number two, started off against a program, with, the prestige and the reputation of Florida A&M?
Well, I think when you're in the position that we're in, the biggest thing that I've been telling our guys is that you're going to find out real quick whether or not you belong. And now you got a platform to showcase whether or not you belong. And at the end of the day, you go look back at this game, and it's going to be one of the greatest experiences that you probably had as a college football player. You're going to be on a platform that's going to allow you to showcase what our program is all about, the love and the passion that we have in our football program, and what a great institution it is. And you got to go out and you got to compete for 60 minutes and beyond. If you do those things and you do them very well, you give yourself a chance to win a football game. And we've been talking about that when we first started camp. We hadn't talked about the magnitude of the game. We hadn't talked about, who we playing. We're not talking about where we're playing. We're not talking about being on TV. We're talking about going 1-0 every day. And if they go 1-0 every day, and we done had a lot of days where we achieve 1-0. The biggest thing that we focus on throughout this camp that I think is one of the primary things you got to focus on with young men today is decision making. Is that you have to make good decisions, and when you make good decisions, you get the rewards of life. And we talk to them about prosperity. You talk to them about effort. You talk to them about success. But people who have achieved those things achieve them because they made good decisions. When you make good decisions, you put yourself in the position to take advantage of any opportunity. And that's the number one thing we talked about, because a lot of our guys end up in different places for different reasons because they made bad decisions. Getting them to make good decisions on and off the field is something we've been harping on throughout this camp, and controlling your emotions. Those are two things that I've have identified in life that this age group struggle with, not only in football, but just life, period.
And just, you know, from the football perspective, obviously the quarterback situation is something that, you know, you planned for, but is there any other position group, you know, that you can identify in camp that has, you know, given you cause for, you know, to be encouraged, you know, going into the season?
No, I just think these guys are going to get ready to play, man. I think they're excited about it. And the quarterback position is not a situation. A situation is something that happens yesterday. It's something that happens that you're not prepared for. No, we was prepared for what took place. We've known about it. We just released it to the media a couple of days ago, but we kind of known that this could be the outcome, and we was hoping for the best. But again, you prepare for the worst. But we've had a plan in place. We haven't missed a beat. We have good understanding of what we're doing, what we're trying to do, and we got a good football team. Now these guys got to get ready to go play. If our 9 to 10 offensive linemen play very well, we feel like we're gonna have a chance to have some success on offense. If our kickers do very well, placing the ball where we want it, we feel like we're gonna have a chance on special teams. If we play well up front on defense, we feel like we're gonna have a chance in this football game. And everybody else just gotta do their 1-11. But we've been going 1-0 every day. We've been chopping wood, carrying water, and we've been taking the mailman approach, going to work. So come Saturday, we gotta do the same thing.
Sounds good. Thanks for your time, Coach. Best of luck this week.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Our next questions will come from Stephen Gaither from HBCU Game Day.
Good morning, Coach Odums. How you doing today?
Doing great. How you doing?
Doing well. Just wanted to ask you, obviously, you just got your announcement of your quarterback. And I know you talked about how FAMU is undergoing a lot of changes. So there are a lot of potential options at quarterback for FAMU. They haven't announced one yet. How have you guys prepared? How are you guys preparing for knowing that it could be one of 2 or 3 guys? How has the preparation been for you guys, not knowing that as much as you, we're trying to figure out your situation or waiting for it, see how it evolves?
Well, one of the biggest things we talk about in life is control the things that you can. You can't worry about the things you can't control. We can't control anything that they do in Tallahassee. Whatever they go do, it may be game day when we find out. We got to be able to adapt, adjust, and overcome. And that's what we got to focus on. We can't worry about who they name the quarterback, who gonna be the quarterback. You know who on the roster. They all have different skill sets. They're going to name the guy that they think can best help them win football games. And whoever that is, we got to be prepared to play against them.
Appreciate it, Coach. See you on Saturday.
Thank you.
That is all the questions we have at the moment for you, Coach Odums. We thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you all for having me. Y'all have a blessed week, and we're going to try to do our part on the weekend so that the MEAC can have a blessed weekend. So, behold, the green and gold.
Thank you, Coach. As a reminder, Norfolk State will face Florida A&M in the 2024 MEAC SWAC Challenge on Saturday, August 24th at Center Park Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, kicking off at 7:30 p.m. on ABC. Also, Delaware State is on the road for week 0, traveling across the country to Hawaii to face the Rainbow from the University of Hawaii on Saturday, August 24th at Clarence T.C. Ching Complex in Honolulu, Oahu, Hawaii at 6 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, 12 a.m. Eastern on August 25th, broadcasting on Spectrum Sports pay-per-view. This concludes the first MEAC Weekly Football Coaches Video Conference of the 2024 season. Before the end of the conference, we would like to thank all that assisted and participated in today's video conference. The MEAC would also like to thank its corporate partners for their continued support of the conference and its Elite 8 member institutions. As a reminder, the next video conference is next Monday, August 26th at 10 a.m. For more information on MEAC football and other sponsored sports, visit meacsports.com and follow the MEAC on social media at MEAC Sports on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Thank you all for tuning in to this week's MEAC Football Coaches Video Conference, and have a great football week.